Hey everybody, I'm Matt Thomas, and welcome to another edition of This Week in Gay, a weekly video blog all about this week's gay and gay stories that happened across my desk and grabbed my attention this week. Obviously, the biggest gay news story of the week was the passing of legislation that legalized gay marriage in the state of New York, probably the best pride present in history. Now, New York State joins a short list of states, including Iowa, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont, as the only states where gay marriage is legal. Now, reaction to this historic ruling was ecstatic, especially inside the historic Stonewall Inn.
Young and Zeldin. Eyes 33 and age 29.
Following the ruling, crowds of gay people spilled onto New York's Christopher Street outside the Stonewall Inn to celebrate this historic victory for gay rights.
We're 42 years together, and we're planning our marriage now that we have it set in New York City.
Ready to take full responsibility.
We were here the night that it took place. We've been fighting ever since and marching ever since to be able to be regular citizens and have our civil rights like everybody else.
The measure barely passed with a vote of 33 to 29, and only 4 Republicans crossed party lines to side with Democrats to legalize gay marriage in the state. Now, the law takes effect July 24th, but hundreds of gay couples are already eagerly planning their weddings after party. Now, not everybody's a fan of gay marriage. Right-wing televangelist Pat Robertson recently spoke about gay marriage on his 700 Club program, stating it will cause the end of civilization as we know it.
In history, there's never been a civilization ever in history that has embraced homosexuality and turned away from traditional fidelity, traditional marriage, traditional child rearing, and has survived. There isn't one single civilization that has survived that had openly embraced homosexuality. So you say, what's going to happen to America? Well, if history's any guide, the same thing's going to happen to us.
Now, I'm pretty sure some of those civilizations that Pat was talking about might have been wiped out by aggressive religious armies during the Crusades, or say brainwashed by missionaries to reject their values before they were broken down and assimilated. But who am I to let a little thing like history get in the way of Pat Robertson's opinion? While New York celebrated an extra special Pride this year, not all Pride festivals have been so lucky. In Chicago, a homophobic vandal slashed tires on over 50 floats, causing a few floats to have to drop out of the parade because they couldn't be repaired in time. Adding to the drama was a record attendance to Chicago's Pride Parade of over 750,000. This resulted in an overloaded transit system, people being crushed against barricades. Many floats were also diverted along the route, and a few people were arrested when fights broke out. In Anchorage, Alaska, their Pride Parade was canceled right as it started when a convertible carrying the parade's Grand Marshal accidentally ran over and killed 50-year-old parade marshal James Crump. Pride weekend in Seattle was the site of some unrest and property damage when anti-corporate gay activists decided to stage a flash mob and hand out leaflets in protest of the assimilation of gay pride into the corporate mainstream. The mob eventually turned violent, smashing store windows, damaging property, spray painting slogans on buildings, and even bashing in the windshield of a patrol car. I guess that'll teach those assholes at American Apparel, how dare they put a rainbow flag in their window over Pride Week. Gay activists in St. Petersburg attempted to stage a Slavic pride march despite the fact that the event has been banned 2 years running by city officials. Now, only 20 people showed up to the event, and they were quickly overtaken by violent homophobes before 14 of them were arrested and eventually released. In sexier news, this week saw the masterpiece edition of Broadway's biggest fundraiser for AIDS research, Broadway Bares. This event brought out tons of sexy male Broadway performers who took to the stage and took off their clothes, all in the name of charity. Created in 1992, this event has raised more than $7.5 million for AIDS research, and it's still going strong. Now, this week's question is all about Toronto Mayor Rob Ford. Rob Ford has said some problematic homophobic statements publicly in the past, and this year he refuses to march in the Pride Parade despite the precedent set by Toronto's previous mayors. Instead, he's going to the cottage for the long weekend. Do you guys think that this is a punch in the face to Toronto's gay community? Or should they have invited him at all to the parade given his homophobic past? Do you think that there's anything the gay community in Toronto should do to react to this snub? That's it for this edition of This Week in Gay. I'll see you guys next week.